We're midway through the start of January, or at least by the time this video itself is recorded, and now is a great time as any to start pushing forward with our plans for the year. This doesn't mean it's easy, however, as life gets in the way and we start to struggle achieving these goals. When one has a disability in some shape or form, however, this starts to get even harder. One's mental health starts to skew our own views of ourselves even further. This is called a disability mindset, and today, as someone who struggles with these personally as well, I want to talk a bit about how one can get out of a disability mindset. A disability mindset is when a person focuses on their disabilities instead of their capabilities, where they victimize themselves to the point where they themselves believe that they cannot do anything due to their own disability. Coping mechanisms and motivation play the biggest factors in getting out of this very mentality. There are plenty of existing coping mechanisms that are well supported, but in this video in particular, I want to focus on the motivation aspect, as our perception of what motivation is so skewed now with hustle culture and just forcing ourselves to work, that I want to get rid of the main misconceptions that we all have about motivation today. According to Dr. K from the Healthy Gamer GG, which is a YouTube channel and Twitch channel I highly recommend to all of you, by the way, there are 3 big misconceptions which we have about motivation. 1. Motivation is about behavior, goal orientation, and self-discipline. Motivation is more of an internal thing. It exists in the mind and may result in these behaviors, but are not what motivation is, nor is it how to get motivated. All of these things are more of something that comes from motivation rather than is motivation. So, to give an example Dr. K gave, when you think of a monk, they're known to be non-materialistic, but they're not like that because they're trying to be. It's because of all the internal change and training they went through that eventually led to the monk becoming unmaterialistic in the first place. You never went through the internal change of the monk. You're just copying him, so it won't change your own mentality and you'll still be materialistic despite mimicking the monk's non-materialism. 2. Motivation is wanting it more. You don't have to want or need something to be motivated to actually do it. As a recent example, think of how we avoid each other's in the pandemic currently. I mean, we don't want to do it, but because we want to not die, we stay away from others. There's no desire to stay away, but there's motivation to. Because you don't want to die, like well established. 3. Motivation is inherently good. This one is a bit weird when I say it out loud, I think. But to help with my case, think of someone with intense desires or for vices such as drugs or smoking or any other vice. They're highly motivated to get what they want. They'll hide their use of a substance, they'll make efforts to find the dealer and engage in its use frequently, despite it being highly detrimental to their health. But it's still something they're motivated to do. Sure, it's not positive, but it's still something they're motivated to do. Even though it's not in a positive way, it still counts as motivation because they're making significant efforts to achieve it. Now that the misconceptions are all out of the way, now, how does one maintain motivation? How can we cope and get out of this disability mindset should it occur? Now, we here at PsyPoints can give a few tips, but I want you to keep in mind that the best thing that you can do in this very situation is to seek guidance and help from a professional, as a professional would be the one who'd be able to help you best. Now, moving on. Remind yourself that you are more than your disability, and that disabilities themselves, although a part of you, can be overcome and managed. If self-doubt persists on, it'll be more difficult to get out of the mindset over time. In regards to the time, maintain motivation. Keep it consistent. Remind yourself of the goals that you set for yourself. Take things one step at a time and try to keep your thoughts anchored onto what is important to you, and try to set aside the stress-inducing negative thoughts. Celebrate the small victories when you can. They're a great reminder that you're more capable than you think, and that you achieve a lot more successes in your life than you expect once you take some time to really look at everything you've done. Keep a steady routine. Setbacks can get in the way of our productivity and our flow state. By sticking to your routine, it can be your way of persevering despite your disabilities. Lastly, and this point is just as a note for helping the disability mindset of others or other friends more so than the self, practice compassion with the people around you. Other people will be less likely to experience the disability mindset if their environment is more understanding towards them. And we should all do our part to make it easier for all of the people around us. The struggle to work around this mindset is something that I've personally struggled with time and time again in my own life. I don't mention it a lot, but my own personal beliefs on my being in the spectrum, albeit on the lower side of it, still gets to me sometimes. They make you act differently from others and struggle more than others. And watching all the people, all of my friends, family who are fully functioning fine, achieve things with no problem compared to myself, it can really sting the ego, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who feels that way. Like, I know it's hard to not see yourself in a negative light sometimes, to go back to your vices, as those are what make us feel safe and comfortable, even if we know that even those can be considered unhealthy over time, if not immediately. But it's that little empathy that you show yourself and the bits of effort you make every day that eventually make it easier. That much I can promise all of you. So I promise to you, viewer, whenever you feel comfortable starting the healing and improving process, even if you struggle to stay consistent and becoming better the first weeks or even first months, it'll start to get a little easier each time. We're all rooting for you here in PsyPoints. Do your best. With that, that's the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you really like the content that we release. We release more and more video like this every Friday and sometimes on Wednesdays. Please comment any topic you'd like for us to tackle next. And as always, I hope you all have a great day ahead.